name's Doctor. The Doctor. Yeah, that probably would have made more sense if I did it in the Spyfall Part 1 video, but I forgot to do it there, so I'm doing it here, even though it doesn't really make complete sense, as it didn't happen in this one, it happened in the previous one. What the hell? I just thought of it, I wanted to put it in. Spyfall Part 2! So that happened. There's a lot to take in with this one. So Spyfall Part 1 was a huge step up from Series 11, it was blooming great, and it just continues in this as well. It's bloody awesome, that was. Let's see, things I can think of right off the bat. I think this is probably the first time that Jodie Whittaker's really felt like the Doctor properly, well, to most people anyway. I know a lot of people have said in reviews that I've seen for this episode over the last couple of days, they've said stuff like this was the first time Jodie felt like the Doctor to them. I mean, I accepted her as the Doctor pretty much instantly when she was announced, so I didn't really have that problem, but yeah, this is probably the most Doctorish that the 13th Doctor's felt in her entire era so far. And only took until her 13th episode to really feel like the Doctor. Funny that, it took 13 episodes to really cement herself properly as the character. Chibnall, was that intentional? Let me know. The stuff with Lenny Henry's character Daniel Barton, it was Barton. The stuff with Daniel Barton and the alien, what were they called? The Kavarians or whatever they were called, the Casavana. So I can't remember what they were called, and I was going to call them the glowy things. So yeah, the plot involving Daniel Barton and the glowy alien things, it kind of turned out just to be a bog standard Doctor Who alien plan to take over the human race sort of thing in the end. It didn't really live up to the hype that they were building up in Part 1. Kind of became a bog standard Doctor Who plot, and let's be honest, it got pretty sidelined and shoved into the background any time the Doctor and the Master were on screen pretty much, and it was especially dwarfed by the last 10 minutes of the episode as well. More on that in a minute. But yeah, it's serviceable. It was actually a pretty decent plot. I mean, if you're going to do a bog standard Doctor Who story like that, you might as well at least do it good, and you did it pretty well here. So yeah, not exactly the best payoff in the world for what we thought was going to be the big alien invasion plot in Part 1, as it kind of gets overshadowed by all the Master and, spoiler alert, Gallifrey stuff in the last 10 minutes, but I like it, it works. They still have more plot and direction than in The Forest of the Night, which is pretty much my nemesis and all-time worst Doctor Who episode in my opinion. And trust me, I've watched, read and heard some pretty shocking Doctor Who stories in my time. Maybe I should do a video sometime on why I hate In the Forest of the Night so much. I feel like I should do that. Funniest port? Funniest port? The funniest part of the episode! What was that like? That was like a bad German accent, that was. Kind of fitting given how there's Nazis in this episode, but you know. I think the funniest part of the episode for me has got to be Graham's laser shoes. That was hilarious. Gotta love that. That's funny. That's going to be one of my all-time favourite funniest moments from Chris Chibnall's era showrunner, that is. Anyway, there's a very serious sort of direction they've gone in with the first 2 episodes of this series as well. A lot of Series 11 was, it had its dark moments, but really, especially with the Doctor's personality and whatnot as well, Series 11 was kind of light-hearted in a lot of places. I feel like they've kind of dropped a lot of that, or at least in this series opener anyway, especially some of the scenes where Jodie's Doctor is getting kind of pissed and angry and whatnot. Again, mostly towards the last 10 minutes, should we say. Yeah, it seems like they're kind of altering the tone a little bit to make it a bit less light-hearted and jokey. Hopefully they'll still keep some of the comedic elements around and whatnot, but yeah, I think it's good that they're toning down the 13th Doctor, well, especially her character in particular, they're toning down her comedic elements and adding in a bit more darkish bits and bobs here and there. Obviously they're not going to go down like the 7th Doctor route and make her like the darkest incarnation of all time or anything like that. The white glowy alien things themselves, sorry I can't remember their name, what was it, like Kazavari, like sorry I can't remember what their name was, I'll look it up later, I promise. They were set up to be pretty interesting in Part 1, but they just kind of ended up being standard alien invader type people in the end. They were kind of interesting being like really unusual, having their own dimension and not being from this universe sort of thing. I think that's what they was getting at anyway. I didn't quite get my head around them by the end of it. I'll look it up a bit later on just to sort of verify the thoughts in my head that barely work as it is. Bugger, where was I? Lost my train of thought. Yeah, I think overall, this follows on really well from part 1. I didn't have really any problem with it at all. I think these first 2 episodes of Series 12 have been really solid. I hope they carry on with this sort of quality throughout the rest of Series 12. Yeah, overall just generally really good, and I think Sacha Dhawan, did I pronounce that right? I hope so. He's got to be up there in the top 5 masters, maybe the top 3 as well. I mean, for me personally, the top 2 are Delgado and Jacoby, but I really think Sacha Dhawan he has what it takes to be up there amongst those 2 particular kings of masters, should we say. But yeah, he does a really good performance in this. I really hope they bring him back at some point. I hope he sticks around for a good few years yet, playing the Master on and off. So yeah, I think there's a lot of good potential with this particular incarnation. Speaking of the Master, we didn't really get any clarity as to whereabouts he is in the timeline, whether he's after Missy somehow, I don't know. I mean, I think he probably is after Missy's incarnation, given how he went back to Gallifrey, and he's aware of Gallifrey being put in the bubble universe, which happened after Day of the Doctor, which was shortly before Missy started to show up. So yeah, I'm assuming that Sacha Dhawan is after Missy. Feel free to correct me on that, anyone, but yeah. But yeah, let's just get on to the twist at the end, shall we? I did not see that coming, and blimey. The last 10 minutes of this episode is really what the 13th Doctor's era really needed. It really did. I won't go into too much detail because I don't think I have the mental capacity to actually pull off a discussion like this on the fly without pre-planned notes, which I don't have any of because I'm dumb and didn't make any. But yeah, the last 10 minutes is really what this era of Doctor Who needed to sort of push it into... No, I don't know what I'm talking about. I think we can all safely say no one saw that twist coming at the end. Also, Gallifrey has been destroyed again. Okay, I'm making a lot of links to not so much Classic Who, but the expanded universe in this next section. So Gallifrey's been destroyed a few times. It was just first destroyed during the 8th Doctor adventures, during the novel series, I believe. I've not read that particular group of stories yet, but I've heard that Gallifrey was destroyed at some point during the 8th Doctor's tenure in his novel series, and then it somehow came back and got involved in the big time war that we all know about. Then it got destroyed again. That's twice it's been destroyed. Then it was brought back in Day of the Doctor, and that's been destroyed again. So yeah, kind of confusing to wrap your head around. Funnily enough, that's one of the least confusing things about the Doctor Who universe, but still. So yeah, Gallifrey is getting beaten up quite a bit, isn't it, in recent years, shall we say. Also, the whole thing about something... The Masters found out something to do with Gallifrey's past, or its origins, perhaps. Now, given how Chibnall is a huge Doctor Who fan, I wouldn't put it past him to tie this into the stuff from the Virgin New Adventures, specifically the story Longbarrow, which I haven't read, but I've heard some things about what the story involves, stuff about the Doctor's past and the origins of Gallifrey in general. Apparently it's a really big story for Gallifrey mythology. So yeah, I'm expecting him to... Well, maybe not expecting him, you know, you never know, they might just make up something completely different to do with Gallifrey, but I really wouldn't put it past Chibnall to make this tie into stuff that happened in Longbarrow, or at least mention parts of it. And also things to do with, well, I think even the Master mentioned Gallifrey's founding fathers. So it's possible you could tie this into Rassilon, Omega and the Other, which would be interesting, because they've never ever really touched on that particular subject in the TV show. I mean, we've had Rassilon show up a lot of times, and Omega's been in it twice. It'd be good if they brought back Omega. That would be good. Chibnall, are you bringing back Omega? You madman. If you do that, I'll love you forever, mate. You'd be the best showrunner of all time. But yeah, it seems like Chibnall's going in head first and could potentially rewrite a huge chunk of the core of Doctor Who's mythology here. This could go 2 ways, perhaps. He could either ruin the show completely by doing this, or make it really good and add an entirely new, fantastic layer to it. But we'll see how it goes. We've still got 8 more episodes left of this series, and potentially it could run into Series 13 as well, but we'll see what happens. So yeah, maybe a little bit worried because, I mean, usually when showrunners fuck with Doctor Who mythology like this, it doesn't end well, but we'll see. We'll see how this goes. So I guess quick rundown would be fantastic episode, all the characters were on point, it's probably the best we've seen the 13th Doctor at. Villains were great, this is possibly the best Master we've ever had. Okay, maybe not, but he's definitely up there. And yeah, amazing cliffhanger type plot twist sort of thing at the end. Interested to see where this is go, and Chibnall could potentially throw the whole of Gallifrey / Time Lord / potentially most of Doctor Who mythology information we know about it on its head completely. Did that sentence make sense? I don't know. Overall, yeah, Spyfall parts 1 and 2, both individually and as one whole story, are bloody fantastic. Possibly one of my favourite season openers, actually. Never thought to see the day when a Chibnall era series opener ended up becoming one of my favourites. I guess that happened. So yeah, that was my thoughts on Spyfall part 2. I hope this video is up a bit closer to on time type levels than part 1's video. Anyway, leave a like if you enjoyed, sub, whatever if you haven't already, blah blah blah. Stick with this channel, check out series 1 of my fan series that came out just last year if you haven't already. That's like the main thing on my channel. There'll be a lot more Doctor Who related videos obviously throughout this year on the channel. I'll be doing a video on every single episode of series 12, obviously, I've done 2 already. Yeah, just see you in the next video hopefully, hope you stick around. I'll see you hopefully about the same time next week for my thoughts on episode 3, Orphan 55, James Buckley in a green wig, and I don't really know what this episode's going to be. It looks kind of interesting, so I don't know, we'll see. See ya!